Hello everyone, in this video we are going to talk about the new education policy of 2020. This video is made by Aashutosh Singh. Now let's talk about what is NEP. The National Education Policy of 2020, also called NEP 2020 short form, which was approved by Union Cabinet of India on 29 July 2020, outlines the vision of India's new education system. Okay, so the new education policy replaces the previous national policy of education 1986. So that means before 29 July 2020 this national policy of education was in use, but still it is used. It will be implemented by this year. The policy is a comprehensive framework for elementary education. Okay, this word is important, comprehensive framework for elementary education to higher education as well as vocational training in both rural and urban India. The policy aims to transform India's education system by 2021. So that means that now Indian education system will be changed into an education system that is desirable for both the students, as there are many complaints for the education system in India. So now this education policy, which is introduced in July 2020, has been implemented in this year. They have said that they will implement it by this year. So now let's talk about one of its provision, which is language. So the policy raises the importance of mother tongue and regional languages. Okay, so they have told that medium of instruction until class 5 and preferably beyond should be in these languages. So that means up till 5, and they prefer that even beyond class 5 the medium of instruction should be in mother tongue, because according to them the medium of instruction should be in mother tongue because mother tongue the child grasps easily, and hence it will be required for him to understand more easily, and they don't want language to become a barrier in education. Sanskrit and foreign languages should be given emphasis. Okay, this policy also states that no language will be imposed on the students, neither English, neither Hindi. They can choose their mother tongue. Shortly after the release of policy, the government clarified that the language policy in NEP is a broad guideline. That means that it is up to schools, institution and state whether to implement this or not. A more detailed language strategy will be released in this thing, National Curriculum Framework 2021. Note was also made that there were already institutions which had implemented this language policy 60 years ago, such as Sardar Patel Vidyalaya. Both the Education Policy of 1986 and Right to Education Act 2009 promoted usage of mother tongue too as an advisory guideline. Now this mother tongue has been criticized by many people, saying that English is very important for students to learn because it is an international language, and also it is used in many countries. So that's why many people have criticized this thing also of the government due to this thing. Now let's talk about the school education. So the 10 plus 2 structure which existed before will be replaced with this 5 plus 3 plus 3 4 model. So this has 4 stages. First stage is foundational stage, which means 3 years to 8 years. Preschool or Anganwadi, we can say this, and classes 1 and 2 in primary school. This is just activity based studies will happen. In preparatory stage, that is class 3 to 5, gradually subjects like speaking, reading, writing, physical education, languages, art, science and mathematics will be introduced. And some basic concepts about these subjects like division, addition, multiplication, these will be introduced gradually. Middle stage, which is classes 6 to 8, will be covering the ages 11 and 14. So this will introduce to math, science, social science and arts and humanities. Social science will be added, and humanities also, arts also, and it will introduce students to more abstract or more new concepts. Then there is fourth stage, secondary stage, which covers high school 9 to 12th, covering the areas of 14 to 19 years, covering the ages of 14 to 19 years. It is divided into two parts: ninth and 10th, 11th and 12th. So these 4 years of study are intended to inculcate multidisciplinary study coupled with depth and critical thinking. Multiple option subjects will be provided. Different kinds of subject, you can say. And instead of exams being held every academic year, the school students will only attend 3 exams in classes 2nd, 5 and 8. This is also a very big change. Now let's go to our next slide. This slide is a continuation of school education policy. Board exams will continue to held for class 10th and 12th, but will be redesigned. Okay, this is something that's important, will be redesigned. Standards for this will be established by assessment body Parak. Now its full form is Performance Assessment, Review and Analysis of Knowledge and for Holistic Development. To make them easier, these exams will be conducted twice a year, with students being offered up to 2 attempts. The exams itself would have two parts, namely the objective, that means fill in the blanks, true, false, etc., and descriptive questions, question answers. This policy aims at reducing the curriculum load of students and allowing them to be more interdisciplinary and multilingual. One example given was, if a student wants to pursue fashion studies with physics or wants to learn bakery with chemistry, they'll be allowed to do so. Report cards will be holistic, offering information about the students' skills also. Coding will be introduced from class 6 and experiential learning will be adopted. Coding, which we have seen a lot in the news, it is being studied upon because of this only. The midday meal scheme will be extended to include breakfast. More focus will be given to students' health, particularly mental health, through the deployment of counselors, social workers. I feel that this is very important thing, extending this midday meal scheme, because it will enable more people and more Indians to send their schools more to send their children to school, and this is very helpful also. Now let's go to our next slide. Now let's talk about higher education. This it proposes 4 year disciplinary bachelor's degree in an undergraduate program with multiple exit options. Okay, this will include professional and vocational areas and will be implemented as follows: a certificate after completing 1 year study, a diploma after completing 2 year of study, a bachelor degree after completion of 3 year program of 4, and the fourth is a 4 year multidisciplinary bachelor's degree, which is the preferred option. The policy proposes that higher education institutes like the IITs make changes with regard to diversity of learning. Means different in India, different kind, there is a lot of diversity, so different types of students come. The policy proposes to internationalize education in India. Okay, foreign universities can now set up in India, they can set up their campuses. So the last change is the fees of both private and public universities will be fixed. Now let's go to next slide. Now this slide talks about teacher education. The National Education Policy 2020 puts forward many policy changes when it comes to teachers and teacher education. To become a teacher, 4 year Bachelor of Education will be the minimum requirement needed by 2030. So this policy is not being implemented by 2021 but by 2030 in future. The teacher recruitment process will also be strengthened and made transparent. That means there should be a clarity. The National Council of Teacher Education will frame a national curriculum framework for teacher education by 2021 and national professional standards for teacher by 2022. The policy aims to ensure that all students at all levels of school education are taught by passionate, motivated and highly qualified, professionally trained and well equipped teachers. So this is also very important change. Now let's talk about vocational education. So the 12th 5-year plan 2012 and 2000 to 2017 estimated that only a very small percentage of Indian workforce in the age group of 19 to 24, which is less than 5%, received formal vocational education. Whereas in countries such as USA the number is 52%, in Germany 75%, in South Korea it is 96%. These numbers only underline the urgency of the need to hasten the spread of vocational education in India. This policy aims to overcome the social status hierarchy associated with vocational education and requires integration. It requires integration of vocational education programs into mainstream education in all education institution in a phased manner. Okay, so beginning with vocational exposure at early ages in middle and secondary school, quality vocational education will be integrated smoothly into higher education. Okay, so this is something important is now vocational education will be smoothly, that means without any problems it will be integrated into higher education, it will be mixed in that. It will ensure that every child learns at least one vocation and is exposed to several more. This would lead to emphasizing the dignity of labor. Okay, so as there are many bad perceptions about labor, carpentry and other things, so to emphasize this dignity and importance of various vocations, including involving Indian arts and artisanship. Now let's talk about other changes. In this we can take a look at different types of changes that are not up to the provisions that we had. Under NEP, numerous new education institutes and bodies and concepts have been given legislative uh, permission to be performed. That means they can be performed. Means like new education institutes which have been there, bodies and concepts will be given now legislative permission. Okay, so now the National Education Commission headed by the Prime Minister of India. This is the first. Academic Bank of Credit, digital storage of credits earned to help resume education by utilizing credits for further education. National Research Foundation to improve research and innovation. Special education zones to focus on education of underrepresented group and disadvantaged regions. Gender inclusion fund for assisting nation in education of female and transgender children. National Education Technology Forum, a platform to facilitate exchange of ideas on technology used to improve learning. So these are some of the groups or education institutes, bodies that have been given legislative permission. Okay, now thank you for watching this video. I hope you got this new education policy. Please like, share and subscribe my channel to not miss out any updates. Thank you for watching.